Hey folks, Jonathan here. Guess what? We're back over at the unit crane. Looks like there've been some deer through here. Real recent. It rained yesterday bad. Alright, let's go up here to the crane. We got a couple things we're going to do. I'm going to show you what plans are, and we're going to go from there. Alright? Well, I'll be doggone. I figured by now somebody would have come and stole this thing, but it's still here. Can you believe it? I'm not surprised either. Okay, so the plan. Let me go take a look at a few things, and we're going to try to make a plan on how to go about doing some work on this machine. All right. Okay, no one's been out here messing with it, thank goodness. All right, so my plan, hopefully you can see this. My plan, of course, is to pull the engine out so we can get to this gear. Now, the way that we've got to do this housing comes off, but we got to get the engine forward first, get the clutch out of it, get it out of the clutch, which we should be able to do by unhooking it and rolling it all the way forward. I know some people had asked about this. It's not a lever. This is actually the grease fitting that goes in and goes to the throwout bearing. Once we get all these bell housing bolts out, we get the engine forward, then we can take all these off and this housing comes off. This is not a cover over the housing, so the only way you can really see the gear is to take it off. Okay, so my plan: get the engine forward, get that housing off, get this gear off, which we did notice that these were loose. I might go ahead and pull them off before we get out of here. There's no shear keys on this lower shaft. The shaft is all one piece. It's a worm. I guess that's the worm shaft and the worm gear. I always call it a worm and a wheel, of course, in the wrecker business, but whatever. I can't get to where I can see it. I was hoping to get this plug out. I guess I could have brought a 3/4 ratchet. I think it's what that hole is, but we might have been able to get it out. But anyway, I don't think I've got one with me. But either way, I'm sure this gear is going to be problems. But one thing I want to check before I get out of here is I'm going to go in here and pry and try to pry up and down and see if we got any end play on this shaft. We're going to take that plate off, look at the splines and see how they look, which I know that's not the issue, but I just want to see what they look like. Just to make sure, once we get this case off and get this gear off, I'll put a pipe wrench or a wrench on the end of the shaft. We want to make sure it spins and spins free, and make sure that there's no other issues inside that gearbox or anywhere that's locking things down or giving us problems. I got a feeling it's just the gear. Turns out it's something that happens a lot. I found some gears. There's 3 different gear ratios. Hopefully they'll have the one that I need. But the material just to make that gear, and I can't remember what it's called. I think it might be 541 bronze or something like that. Just the material for a 10-inch piece, 2 inches wide, is about $1,000. So making one is sort of not even on one of my choices. I think we're going to have to just depend on finding one. And we found a couple of machines, that's junked, and one of them that's missing on. And like I said, I found somebody that's got new old stock gears, and the only way it's worth buying a new old stock is if we know for sure that nothing else is, pretty good idea that nothing else is major wrong with the gearbox. Clutches and stuff, brakes, I understand, but gears I don't want to mess with. If we can keep from it. Now this is the one that always goes. The other ones usually don't. And like I said, if a bearing is bad on the inside of the shaft and then in the housing, then that could have been the cause of it. But it also could have been the fact that there wasn't any water in it. There wasn't any gear oil in it. I said water because I'm sitting here looking at that and it's full of water now. So what my plans are is I was going to build a piece to put I was going to go on top of the roof with a flat plate and a pipe, and come back and then come down to the counterweights. And I was going to V it, but I don't have enough room back here. I can see it already. So I would have to come off of the sides here, come up and over, which wouldn't be an issue. I brought a tape measure and some paper. I'm going to basically make me a really lightweight frame to sit on top of this machine. to run a come along. It's got 2 hook spots to actually hold this engine up and be able to swing it forward enough to get the bell housing apart. And I don't think that's going to be a big issue. That's my plan. So that's what I'm over here doing. We're going to take a measurement on it. Let me see. Fuel system unhooked. And as you can see, when the camera was there, I actually kicked that lever in. You see what happened? It just rattled. And like I said, that shaft is, or that worm is not on a key. One of the things that they advertised a lot was they didn't use a lot of keys, that a lot of stuff was splined. But that don't mean that when I take this off, it's not going to have, be keyed. I don't know what all they keyed and what all they splined, but so anyway, there's no mounts under this thing at all, except in the front. So this is what holds it up in the back. So it'll make it pretty easy to bring forward. But so I need to go and get something to take this off, but I also want to get something to pry on this. I want to see if this shaft is going to move up and down at all, and that'll tell me if what the deal is with that. So, all right, let's walk back to the truck. I wanted to say something about the last video I put up was the Christmas present from my wife. I uploaded that thing for 24 hours before it finally locked up. It was at 80-something%, but I was trying to do it in 1080, and I ended up just resaving it in a lower quality and put it on there. And I don't want to do that every time, but y'all have to realize that I'm in the middle of nowhere, so uploading, I think the video before that took about 21 hours to upload, and if I do it in whatever it is, the lower quality 480 or whatever it is, it takes about 3 hours for a 15-minute video. It's a good sized deer in there. So anyway, that's why but that's why the quality wasn't as good. But I grew up watching a black and white TV with 3 channels, and I used to have to turn the antenna to get them. So I don't complain a whole lot about quality of that, but it is what it is. All right. Okay, so the gear's got a little play on the shaft, but I don't think the shaft's got any play. I think we'll know that when we take them bolts out. All right, let me get the bolts out of it and we'll see. Okay, so this is actually really good news. We can move the gear on the splines a little bit, but that shaft is tight as can be. It's not moving, so that's a good thing. So that tells me that things are looking good, or looking better. All right, let's look at the other side. I don't know if there would be a way. No, I don't think there would be. I don't want to put I could take that cover off. That would be for the reverser. This would have had a reverser if it would have had a push shovel. If it had been a shovel, there'd have been another set there. But because it don't, it ain't got it. Or because it never had it, it don't have it. So, Trying to do some debating here. Now we've got everything freed up and moving and all that good stuff. I don't have a socket or ratchet big enough to put in there to try to turn it from there. It's going to be probably kind of rough to turn anyway, being sitting there so long. Let's see, the brake band is even coming out of this thing, so we're going to have to do the brake bands on it, which is not a problem. I mean, we've got a rivet machine, we got rivets, we got linings. And then if we have to buy linings that fit it, we can buy linings. It's not an issue at all there. Just trying to debate on what would be best to turn this thing. And I'm sure there's somebody out here that's messed with these units and probably jumping up and down and trying to tell me what to do right now to try to turn it, but I just don't know. Okay, so this worm gear, once it turns, it's not going to allow me to turn it much because, you know, any teeth that's left on it's going to be hitting. But I've got it to move a little bit on the other side, and I can't watch this side and that side at the same time. So we'll see if I see any movement at all out of it on the camera. And we'll go to the other side, and it's not moving far, but it's moving far enough that hopefully if it is free, it will show it. I'm going to go ahead and do a drawing of what I need, and I'm just going to use conduit. Now this is a big heavy conduit, or not heavy, it's a light conduit, but it's I think the 2-inch diameter will do for the legs, and then 3 or 4 inch diameter for the main beam, and then we'll weld some pieces on it to strengthen it up. But my goal is to make it light enough that I can get as close as I can to my truck and just carry it with no problem. And so it's going to be more of a structural item than it is, you know, built heavy. You know, when in doubt, build it stout. It's not going to have to. We're not going to be able to use that on this. And I could go off of here, but I really think I'm better off going off the cab. I just want to make a flat plate and put a couple holes in it, and then I'll just drill holes in the cab and bolt it to the top of the cab with the cordless drill when I get here. And that way, that'll keep it from moving around any. Because if we put it up here, it's liable to, I mean, we could chain it up, but you know, where this engine is at, it's not in the center. So I think it would work out best there. So I'm going to mark a straight line from here back. I'm going to get a height, and then I'm going to get a height from the back coming off the weights, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing figured out so we can get it built and come along, a bunch of tools, and see if we can get this thing apart and get this gear out. Okay folks, we've got to turn it up here now. So I'm going to set it up. We'll try this again. Like I said, I have no clue if it's turned or not. I can about see it, but it's kind of tough. Okay folks, it's moving back and forth as far as it's going to move with the bad gear. So I'm pretty sure that everything's going to be fine except for that gear. So next thing to do is get it apart. I think I found the problem. I think red green was here. Okay folks, here's what we got. We got 3.5 inch conduit for the main beam, and then we got a 2 inch and for the legs and such, and we're going to get we'll truss it, but we're going to try to make it light, like I said, so I can carry it by myself. I'm just going to post as I go on this thing, because that way we can try to upload in 1080, so we'll make the videos a little shorter and more frequent maybe. But anyway, so this is the start, and stick with us and we'll get this thing apart maybe in the next video, and then we'll know for sure what tooth gear we need, and you know, for sure what kind of shape it's in, which I'm sure that's the only problem. So I think everything else is freed up. All right, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye.